Whether we're looking at people that eat too much, or whether we're looking at people who starve themselves, we should say anorexics. So you got both ends of the eating spectrum, if you will. But really, they're both at the same end of the spectrum, because their relationship to food is actually determined by suffering. We unexpectedly discovered that histories of childhood sexual abuse were common, as were histories of growing up in markedly dysfunctional households. It became evident that traumatic life experiences during childhood and adolescence were far more common in an obese population than was comfortably recognized. We slowly discovered that major weight loss is often sexually or physically threatening, and that obesity, whatever its health risks, is protective emotionally. They looked at 17,000 or 14 to 17,000 adults. They elicited a history of childhood, and they found there were 10 categories of childhood adverse experience, and there were physical or sexual or emotional abuse, neglect, a parent dying, a parent being jailed, violence in the family, a parent being addicted, a divorce, addiction in the family, mental illness in one of the parents. The eating problems seem to be on a spectrum of responses to trauma somehow. New research suggests that authoritarian parenting style is worse for children's weight than an authoritative one. The study of 37,000 Canadian children found that those of authoritarian parents were 30% more likely to be obese at 2 to 5 years old. And fundamentally, anytime that need is frustrated, whether because people are traumatized and abused or neglected, or whether the parents are too distracted or too depressed to meet the child's needs, that child is going to be short of nourishing experience that they will then spend the rest of their lives trying to compensate for. So anytime somebody's got a dysfunctional relationship to food, it fundamentally means that they have a dysfunctional relationship to themselves, and they're trying to soothe themselves. When people lack mastery in their lives, when they feel that they don't exercise real power over their lives, well then you'll move towards activities where you can have some power. Now, again, I've never met an anorexic or bulimic who was not a traumatized person. What you've got in anorexia is fundamentally, I think, a person who is desperately trying to exert some control over themselves, and that's the only thing they can control. And it's also a way of resisting. That's the one thing the parents can't control. So whether we're looking at overeating or rigid, self-destructive undereating, we're looking at responses to trauma in the past. And what we're looking at in the present is an excess of stress that we haven't found a way to deal with.